Today I'm actually gonna jump straight into the review of the, as you can see here, Blitzwolf BW-AS1 wireless stereo Bluetooth speaker, which is a speaker that I actually like quite a lot, but there is one gripe that I have with it that actually doesn't even have something to do with the speaker itself, but more about that later, because what they did really well here is the execution of the design and build quality, because with the aluminum finish here it looks and feels very luxurious and very high quality, well made with the grill here and everything else beveled edge. Yes, on the back it's maybe a little bit on the not that smooth side, and here we can also already see the micro USB port and aux. I mean, I guess we can't expect USB Type-C here yet. Bass port on the back, and on the bottom we can see the controls, power on and off, play and pause, minus and plus for volume, and also changing the tracks with some rubber feet on the bottom. This is already pretty much it. So due to the aluminum finish, it's a little bit heavier with 750 grams compared to something that is quite similarly in size, but in weight not so much, because this is just 400 grams. This is just something that you have to think about, because this is not so rugged, not quite as portable, because it could kind of scuff up and so on. It's also not waterproof and so, but I still like it a lot for the reason that it sounds really good, which is, I guess, the most important part after all, because it is noticeably louder than something like this, and the sound is actually really nicely balanced, which is something that I did not expect, because usually they have a very heavy bass, mids are not really that great, and the highs are quite muffled. This very nicely balanced, and I enjoyed TV shows a lot, because actually voices and vocals and so on feel good. They don't really sound super feely, even though I have to say that once again, for every Bluetooth speaker, especially in my house, when I walk around and test where it sounds the best, it really heavily depends on where you use it, because no matter which speaker I have here in this room, for some reason, even though it is kinda treated acoustically, everything sounds super harsh and tinny. Where this one obviously does that as well, even though not as bad as some other ones. So it actually even here sounds quite good, but especially in my bedroom where I test usually most Bluetooth speakers, it sounds really nice, because there the mattress, I guess, covers all the harshness, and there it sounds really nice. The bass absolutely not super overly dominant or too heavy, too thick, actually very nicely balanced, but it has some bass. Obviously not that much because of the size, but for its size and for what it is, the bass absolutely delivers. Also the mids, so like I said, TV shows and even movies you could watch with this and enjoy actually quite a lot. Obviously the room shouldn't be too big, and it shouldn't be kind of too empty, so it can't reflect too much, because then everything sounds just harsh. But in a well-treated room, in a good normal living condition, this sounds really nice, especially since the highs are clear but not kind of harsh and bright. So the overall balance has been done really well. It's also pretty loud for its size. Obviously on the higher end of the volume it gets a little bit kinda harsher, maybe not quite distortion, but all I can say is, to keep it short, it sounds really pleasant and is actually one of the better ones that I've heard. But now the battery life, that is something that I'm not so impressed with, because they claim about 7 to 11 hours. I would have said maybe like 6 to 8, because the battery life wasn't all that impressive, because if I compare this with this one, I can use this for like a week or so. So this is like at least twice as much, so I get easily 12 hours out of this. I would say like 6 or 7 hours is possible with not that high volume. I would say 60–70%. But here's my one gripe that I mentioned earlier before. It's the price. In the US it's about $60, which I guess kinda is fair, especially due to the nice premium build quality. But most people who are just looking for a good sound for a cheap price, I think that's a little bit too much. And especially in Europe I've seen prices of about $80, which is even more so expensive and even less so recommendable. But I mean, it's kind of worth it for the execution. But if you are looking for just something that does it, is maybe actually even more so rugged, maybe the sound not quite as good, there are alternatives. So if this would have been like 40 bucks, 50 is already, I think, stretching it, if it just comes down to the sound quality and what the competition does these days, because the competition in the Bluetooth space is fierce. So it does nothing wrong on its own besides being a little bit more on the expensive side. Sometimes you can maybe get it on a deal or so, but I would say for 40 bucks, especially if you like something that looks nice, feels good, especially maybe something on the table a little bit more luxurious, then yeah. But if it's just for the sound, and if you want something cheap and just something that works, maybe just look out for something cheaper. But that's that. I wish you a nice day. Until next time. Bye.